Today we are doing lesson 2.3, compare fractions with the same denominator or the same numerator. So we've gone over the math warm-up on page 47. We're now on page 48. Fractions with the same denominator. To start with, they've given us a fraction strip, and we're just going to fill that in with the size of each part. So you can see that each of these is the same width as one whole. So Cameron, if you take one whole and split it into two sections, what size are each of those sections? If you take a cookie and we split it in the middle, how much do you get?
1, 2 halves.
Yep, it's just one.
1/2.
You get 1/2, I get 1/2. My half may be a little bigger though. No, we'll share it equally because that's what a half means, right? Okay, 1/2 here, 1/2 here. That's what I want you to write down. 1/2, 1/2. So 1/2, write it. 1/2, write it. Okay? And notice how many halves are there? 2. And so the denominator is 2. Okay? What about over here? How many sections are there?
3.
3. So what should I write in each of those sections, Todd?
1/3.
1/3, yes. Yep. Avis is going to get your point. So, okay, I thought you were getting that. 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. Okay? On the next one, it's split into 4 sections. Jackson, what should I write on all of them?
1/4.
Yep, 1/4. Okay. Next, how many sections is it split into?
5.
5. Evan, what should I write on each one of these?
1/5.
1/5. Okay. And on the next one, how many sections is it split into, Haziel? And what should I write on each one? 1/6. That's correct. So Avis, Jackson Arthur, Evan, and Haziel, and Todd, and Cameron. Yeah, go ahead and give Cameron one. Okay. And Zerelda, how many sections is the bottom one split?
7.
Look at it again. How many sections is the bottom one split into?
8.
8. So what should each box say?
8.
No, what?
1/8.
1/8. Okay, so that's the reason that you shouldn't get ahead of me, because if you were going ahead of me, what did you probably write down?
1/7.
And actually, I have a confession to make. This morning, I got on a roll, and I told them 1/7, and the kids had to tell me, no, Miss Peterson, that's 8. Okay? So, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
All right.
Not all the time.
Okay, so next it says circle the greater fraction in each of the following pairs. What does greater mean? Fisher? More than or bigger,
Big.
right? So we're looking for the one that's bigger. You can give Fisher a point. Okay. So we have the ones like this I like because they're all the same size. Remember, the bottom number, the denominator, tells us how big the parts are. So the first one that we're looking at is we're comparing 3/4 to 5/4. So 3 of these or 5 of these, which is going to be bigger? Colton? The 5, right? And so when they have the same number on the bottom, all you have to do is look at the top number and decide which top number is bigger, and that's the bigger fraction. So in this case, the bigger fraction is going to be 5/4. So we're going to circle it. Next, we have 5th size pieces. So which is going to be bigger? 3 of the 5th size parts or 5 of the 5th size parts? Mary? 5. So we're going to circle 5/5. Next we have 3/6 or 5/6. 3 of these or 5 of these? Devin?
5.
5. 5/6. Are you guys seeing the pattern here?
Yeah. It just needs to go.
All right. The next one is talking about 8th size pieces. So these are my 8th size pieces. 3 or 5? Emma? 5 is bigger. 5/8. And the last one is talking about 10th size pieces. So we have 3/10 or 5/10. Macy? 5/10. That's right. Very good. So it's gonna ask now what we notice, or what pattern do you notice about the circled fractions? They all have what? Mary? 5s. Where at? At the top. So we're going to write down they all have a 5 on top. They all have a 5 on top. What's that called, the top number of a fraction? Ari? Numerator. So Mary and Ari. Yep, that's correct. That's the numerator. Did I tell you guys my trick for knowing the difference in the numerator and denominator?
No.
What does the word denominator begin with? G, like down. Okay? So just a little trick if you have trouble remembering whether it's the numerator on top or the denominator on top. D is down like denominator. Okay? All right. They all have a 5 on top. Which one is greater, 7/3 or 10/3? Which one is greater, 7/3 or 10/3? I'm going to pull a stick for this one. Which one's greater? Ari. 7/3 or 10/3? 10/3 is bigger. So we need to write down 10/3. Copy this down. When the denominator, plural denominators, let's put the water bottles up for now. When the denominators are the same, we compare the numerators. Copy this down, Rosa. When the denominators are the same, we compare the numerators. The bigger numerator is the bigger fraction.
Should there be 2 G's or 1 G?
2.
Huh.
When you add ER, you double the consonant that it ends with.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, 10/3. When the denominators are the same, we compare the numerators. The bigger numerator is the bigger fraction, okay? So basically they kind of turn into whole numbers. We don't have to look at the denominators. We just say 10 is bigger than 7, so 7 is less than 10, and 7/3 is less than 10/3. You're gonna have to do this sometime today. Okay. All right. If you write as I write, you'll keep up a lot better. Okay.
I was trying to.
Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna go on. If you didn't quite finish getting that copied down, then I'll put it back up when we're finished with the work we're doing together. So now we're going to talk about when the denominators, the bottom numbers are different, but the top numbers are the same. So, did you notice that every time I went over here to get pieces earlier, they were the same color? So I said 3/8 or 5/8, right?
Someone's calling.
Someone's calling.
Okay, I hear it. See if you can go ahead and circle and figure out which one is which. Okay. Oh, thank you. I will do that. Okay, here we go. So now that the denominators are different, the sizes of the parts are different. So we have 1/3 or 1/5, right?
Yes.
So now we're talking about different sizes. So 1/3 or 1/5. Now, normally, which is a bigger number, 5 or 3?
5.
5 is bigger, right? But when it's on the bottom of a fraction, the part is smaller. Put your hand down. I'm not calling on anybody right now. Okay, so if you're comparing 1/3 size piece to 1/5 size piece, which is bigger?
The third.
The third, right? So go ahead and circle 1/3. Then, if you have 2 of these thirds and 2 of these fifths, which is bigger? Shout it out.
2/3.
2/3, right? Which is bigger? 3/3 or 5/3?
3/3.
I said that wrong.
3/3.
Let's try this again. Which is bigger? 3/3 or 3/5?
3/3.
3/3.
Is there for a set on the back?
Yes. What about 4/3 or 4/5?
4/3.
4/3. Okay, and then the last one, 9/3 or 9/5?
9/5.
9/5. Okay, so this is what do you? Let me put these back over here. The only this board and this board are not magnetic, but that one and that one are. That's why I keep running down there. These, if I try to stick a magnet here, it's just gonna fall. So that's why I keep running over there. Okay, so now we need to write down. My screen is freezing up today. What pattern do you notice about the circled fraction? What do they all have on the bottom, Jackson?
They all have on the bottom 3s or 5s.
On the circled ones.
Oh, on the circle ones they all have 3s.
Yes. They, copy this down. All have a 3 on the bottom. Okay. So 1/3, 1/5. We think of 5 as being a bigger number, but when it's on the bottom of a fraction, it's not talking about it's talking about how many pieces are in the whole thing. And if you have a whole that is cut into 3 pieces, 3 equal pieces, and you have another whole that's the same exact size, that's cut into 5 pieces, those 5 pieces are going to be smaller, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you can see that the bigger the bottom, when the top numbers are the same, when they're the exact same, you look at the bottom, and the bigger the number, the smaller the piece. Does that make sense? Okay. So we've got 70 hundredths or 70 20ths. So if you have 70 hundredths or 70 20ths, which is going to be bigger? Colton?
70 20ths.
Very good. Yes. Give Colton a point, Beavis. That's exactly right. 70 20ths. Because, write this down, Zerelda. When the top numbers are the same, we compare the bottom numbers. My screen keeps freezing up, and so I'm having to write without it showing up. So I already wrote numbers, and it's not showing up. There it goes. Okay. Because when the top numbers are the same, we compare the bottom numbers. And then we're going to add, this part's very important. The bigger the denominator,
The smaller the piece.
you write. I'm not having you add anything when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Oops, sorry.
The bigger the denominator, the smaller Whoop, something happened there. Normally if we have 1,000 in a number, we think that's a big number, right? But when it's on the bottom of a fraction, that's taking one whole and splitting it into 1,000 itty bitty teeny tiny pieces, okay? So they're gonna be very little. Okay, so 100 is bigger than 20. So that means that 20th size pieces are much bigger than 100th size pieces. If you haven't finished copying that, keep working. I'm going to tell you too. I always draw squares or rectangles when I'm doing fractions because I'm not very good at splitting circles into even sections. So, 2 is a very small number, but it's the biggest fraction there is, 1/2, okay? But if we take this and split it into little tiny pieces, and so this would be, so this would be 1/18. Which is bigger, 1/2 or 1/18?
1/2.
1/2. Okay? All right. Last question says Tyler is comparing 4/10 and 4/6. He says 10 is greater than 6, so 4/10 is greater than 4/6. Explain why Tyler's conclusion is incorrect. Todd, you want to explain why Tyler's conclusion is incorrect? So he says he's got 4/10 and he's got 4/6. And he says because 10's a bigger number, this fraction's bigger.
Wait. Yes, it is.
And he's wrong. So because this is a 10th size piece, this is a 6th size piece.
We lost connection.
All right, that's all right. So 4 of these, 4/10 is going to be smaller than 4/6, right? So here's what we're going to write on that one, and then we will be done with this, the part we're doing together. And then you guys will do page 65. Let me get this, try to get this cast again. I need to restart my Chromebook, I think. All right, here we go. Did it come up?
Yes.
Okay. So, for number 4, we're going to write down Tyler is wrong. Copy, copy, copy.
Here, it won't show.
Oh, is it still not? Here we
Yeah.
go. Tyler is wrong. Tenth sized parts are smaller come on. Oh my goodness.
Why
We're having technical difficulties today.